Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Emma's vlog. This is our longest running vlog series, many people's favorite. We started the week off with a conventional deadlift there. She got 295, wasn't an all-out max, but she decided to be conservative that day. Also, I want to note we did not get max effort day footage for the upper, so it's going to be an abridged vlog, but it's okay because I have a ton of people vlogging at this point. I have more on the way who haven't even done their first vlogs for. So we're not going to have a shortage of vlogs at all in the coming weeks. So not a big deal, guys. Don't sweat it. So for supplemental work for her at the moment, we're doing cambered bar good mornings. On the lower day, we're doing belt squats, which her and Louie love this. I talked them into buying one. Particularly, they had been thinking about it, and then they had tried it at some of the gyms they hit when traveling, and they realized, yeah, we really need one of these. Both of them have been talking about the quad burn they're getting, that it's very different from even the single leg exercises she did. And I think this is something that we can look at and highlight with different clients that I have and supplementalists we pick. When I have people who don't have access to some of these machines, I do prescribe single leg exercises very frequently. I used to do them myself at home before I had these things, right? You guys used to see me do step-ups. You've seen me do split squats. You've seen me do all these things in the past, years ago before I bought the belt squat. Okay, and she has noted that her quads simply get hit harder on that than they do on split squats. And again, she's got different barbells and dumbbells and things to do the split squats with, so we've had different variations. So again, it kind of brings a little bit more to the table. I'm a big fan of the belt squat, and I'm not saying you have to have one, and I'm not saying you can't develop quads and adductors and everything with single leg exercises. It's just way more convenient to do. It is easier to at least feel those muscles and target those muscles more on this device. It brings a lot to the table, plus the fact that there's no axial loading. And that's one of the advantages of the single leg exercises, that it reduces axial loading considerably if you're still using free weights and you don't have any machines. That's an advantage. With this, it takes it to zero. So her other supplemental work we do, of course, is the glute ham raise, reverse hyperextension hanging leg raises. And as everybody knows, I'm an enormous fan of the glute ham raise and the reverse hyper. I own both. I've invested my own money in both. In fact, I've bought my second reverse hyper. I bought an upgrade this last year. All right, for dynamic effort upper day, Emma does her standard speed bench, right? But since they've got their own big room now at the new house for their gym, they've got a bigger rack. We now have band pegs. It makes it a lot easier. It's so much more convenient to set up the bands, because she does, again, triples with 3 different grip widths. We rotate through, do 3 sets with wide grip, 3 sets medium, 3 sets close. But again, it's so much easier with the band pegs to get everything set up. And it's something I can't stress enough. Having a good rack, having band pegs, if you're going to run conjugate, is tremendously useful. All right, for supplemental work, we're doing just dumbbell presses. I took the second pressing out for each thing. For a while we were doing that, but as we said in previous vlogs, it was becoming too much for recovery for her eventually. So now we're down to just doing one assistance press, right? Or one accessory press following our max work or our speed work. And I do like to use dumbbells very frequently on speed bench days for a lot of my lifters, right? Because we're already getting that barbell work in with the speed benching, and it lets us attack a different angle, lets us get a little more range of motion, and plus we're always then worried about just getting a pump and long range of motion with dumbbells instead of ego lifting, and it will remove that tendency to want to ego lift like we might do with barbell exercises sometimes, because again, we don't want that to happen on speed days. All right, for dynamic effort lower, sumo deadlifts against bands, box squats with a safety squat bar against bands. And again, having the correct setup really helps a lot. Unfortunately for us, so these things have become standard. Most good squat racks, or most power racks, have band pegs from most reputable companies, right? Good companies. It's the norm. The same thing on deadlift platforms. Most of them tend to come with attachments for band pegs now. It's the norm. It's industry standard, at least for any mid-range to high-end rack. And even platforms on budget platforms, they have them now, like with Titan, like the one that I bought. All right. Then, of course, she does belt squats. She does glute ham raises. And again, due to not having much more adjustment on the machine, we can't really get on that particular unit. If you'll notice, you can't get the same adjustment that you can, on other ones, to where it's way closer to the knee, the padding. So in which case you have to add weight much sooner. So she's obviously having to use weight here to get an appropriate number of reps, right? And again, this is just stuff that we look at. A lot of times this will come up, if people will notice performance is different for different lifters on a glute ham raise. Well, it depends on the amount of adjustment and things that you have, because it can be a dramatically easier or more difficult exercise, even just using body weight based upon those things, as well as based upon the weight of your torso and everything. And this particular combo unit, it doesn't seem to have, a lot of adjustment there from what I can see. And again, you can just look at the angle where the pad's hitting her thigh. So she has to use weight to get a challenge on it at this point. And then, of course, we finish up with the reverse hyperextensions and hanging leg raises, favorite exercises of mine. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.